Hey everyone, this is Mark Schreiber. I am live here on Facebook and YouTube, trying to simulcast here between two different uh, configured things that I'm working on, trying to figure this all out together. But hey, I wanted to talk about parenting in this time a little bit and teacher tips and tricks. There's a ton of different stuff out there, so this is another test video, but also for you parents. So hopefully it's helpful. We've been homeschooling, and also if you know me personally, you know that my daughter had a bone marrow transplant and that we did the self-isolation thing for a long time. So with those two things, I kind of feel like we're in an interesting spot right now in the world where maybe I actually have something useful to say. I'm not really sure, but listen along if you like to. I appreciate it. And yeah, I don't have chat up right now, but I'm going to work on that too. So anyway, I think the biggest thing is schedule, right? When we moved overseas, actually to Japan, one of the biggest things that was in play of going into a new week in a whole different foreign land was to have a schedule. So if you've never homeschooled before, I suggest before you hit the ground tomorrow and teachers are sending you things and you're trying to figure out which computer to use and which kid gets to use it and all those things, that you just get a schedule, a planner for Monday, maybe Monday, Tuesday. You can print them out, just draw a line down for how many ever kids you have. Your columns may get kind of short, but that schedule is really helpful. Also, doing anything that you already do that's normal is super helpful just to keep that consistency when we are in this place of change. So you've got your husband at home, or you're at home, or both parents are at home, right? All your kids are at home. Just think about what would be helpful as your family now having to be together in this tight spot doing all their own normal work. So I'd say, even though I don't really like schedules personally, I would say get a schedule and plan it out, map it out just a little bit, and don't go too far. It's kind of design thinking in real person. You don't want to spend the whole time doing your whole week, but I think just having a schedule and something helpful, is going to be really helpful as you guys go into a school week with your kids at home and two people potentially working in the same house. So try that. Other things, there's all these free services, and I don't know what your school is going to do. We have two of our kids are in school part-time, and with that, we don't know what theirs is going to be. So we're going to get up, we're going to have our breakfast, we're going to do our normal things. I'm going to put a button-up shirt on because it helps me to feel like I'm going to work, and even if I'm not in work. And then we're going to have the kids do their certain things, and hopefully have a schedule where they go over here and use this computer. When they were little, we actually used to have the kids have a little quiet time, a little downtime, just alone time. I strongly suggest a little alone time. We went to Japan this summer, and we were in a flat for about a week that was one room, and the table was like a card table. That was our kitchen, and it gets tough. And we were there for fun, but if we had to do a whole bunch of things, just find some rooms, put them in different places. I'm going to try to get a panel of actually homeschool moms and dads that have done this for a while and just kind of get their ideas out there. So I'm going to try to do that on Friday. If you know me in that Friday homeschool world that I help run, you can talk to me too. Put something in the comments. So anyway, that's one thing, schedule. Second thing is there's all these free resources coming out online. There's a masterpiece art that you can subscribe to now, and you can have your kids doing art. Maybe your schools are just going to do the core stuff. Maybe they're just going to do math and English and some of the basics, and leave you at home with your kids running around for the other half of the day. And if that's the case, that's a really cool place to be in some ways, because you can educate them. Go for a nature walk. Talk to them about different things that are out there. They don't have to just do worksheet after worksheet after worksheet. These can actually be really fun times and enjoyable. So I'd think about that. And I'm going to be doing some maker classes. Maybe I'll call it Maker with Mark. I don't know. Haven't decided yet. But on Year in the Making website, I'll put some information. I'm going to try to do them daily next week, and I'll get a time on there. There's a doodling with Mo if you have younger kids where he's drawing different things. I have a whole list I'm going to put into the comments here. And if you go to theyearinthemaking.com or to the Facebook page right now, I'll put a link where you can sign up for the newsletter, and I'm just going to be funneling out information. But quite honestly, you're working potentially, your husband, your wife's working, your kids are supposed to be working, and it's going to take a little time to kind of get into, and just having a bunch of resources isn't necessarily going to be the best aspect of it. So anyway, that's one aspect of it, being in isolation. Another fun thing of being in isolation, if you can say that, is, my wife would be at the hospital with my daughter. If we had a cold, we couldn't come down during those bone marrow transplant times. And one thing that was really fun was just to get Amazon if you're in different places or with your in-laws or friends, and just queue up a video together on Prime and say, okay, ready? Open up a Zoom room, open up a Google Hangout or FaceTime, and just set the phone, turn the volume down on it, and then they kind of can look over your shoulder, and you both can be watching your own screens, but you're kind of in there together. I mean, I know this isolation thing is no fun, and hopefully it's nice where you are. You can get out, go for a bike ride or walk, and it's not like you just have to stay away from people. But that's one thing. I think just having that structure, figure out who's going to use the computer when, find some adaptive ways to just educate, because maybe your education philosophy is going to change in this. I'm very constructivist. I'm very learning by doing, by making. I enjoy that. I think worksheets are, we call them twaddle sometimes. Twaddle is just that extra amount of work that doesn't really need to be done sometimes. And sometimes in a classroom, you've got 30 kids, and 10 of them are done early, 20 of them are still working, you've got some management issues. When you're at home and you have 2 or 3 kids, or 5, I don't know what your family is, you have a few kids at home, you can actually get a lot more done in a lot quicker amount of time, and then you've got this extra amount of time to go. So yeah, it's okay. Have them have some screen time, doing some things, but also have them play some card games and look around, explore the world, build things with their hands. Legos are great. And I'm going to do an upcycling unit next week where we're going to make a bike tube wallet. We've got some bike tube right here. We're going to do probably some take apart, kind of tear down things. So what electronics that you have that are broken, rip them apart, and actually use some of those components to make other things with. That'd be fun, especially if you have little twinkle LED candles. Those are great to be able to turn into some different stuff, some scrappy circuits. Anyway, I've got a lot of different ideas of what we can do low tech to have fun, to learn some new things. So I'll get a time out there on the tune in. Hopefully this is working. Hopefully this is getting out there into the YouTube land and Facebook land, but don't know until I hang up. So thanks so much, and hopefully it's working well. And yeah, just enjoy it. It's 6 weeks, and a bit of this honestly is going to be triage. There is a bit of learning that just isn't going to get done. And I'm going to have another video. I'm going to talk to teachers about how to do that kind of triage teaching, because though I love my subject area and you love your subject area as a teacher, not everything is going to be able to make it in. You just don't have time when you're not there with a kid, if you're doing online learning or just short amount of learning. So you got to ask yourself, what are the important things in 6 weeks that sprint to the end? What has to be so that you can pass them off to the next grade next year? And we're all in this together, right? Next year people are going to come back and they're going to know that you're a quarter potentially behind in your learning, and that's all right. But I'll talk to that in a different video. Thanks so much. Mark out.